Happy Sunday, everybody. Now, as you can probably tell, we came over a couple of days ago and Danni finally stuck to her word and she's painted clouds on the ceiling. And I'm really happy with them. There was a couple questionable stages when she first started, but I think the style of them sort of quite cartoon-like, but also, what's that famous Italian painter? Nearly. Today, or this week even, it's going to be a bit sporadic on the old filming side because I'm going to be staying at home looking after my parents' dog. Does mean I can do some work from home, like some of the boxes I need to make to cover up the rear of the dials and also the light up that end. I've brought with me today the Cratch board. This. So I'm going to mock this up today. I swung by my dad's window man. He's measured it up, got it on order, the glass, the toughened glass we're going to use. I'm just going to see how best to mount this onto the metal up on the bow. We are due some rain. I think over the next couple of days. The weather's supposed to get real bad, even go down minus, and even some snow, which is quite unbelievable considering the 2 weeks that we've had. So I did put the cover, our temporary cover, back on the other day, which means I have to take it off to try this. So I need to figure out a bracket, go along here somehow, probably some aluminium angle. There's probably enough flex in that to bring it forward because this actually slopes, if you can see, slopes down. That way, yeah, it does slope back down, so I need to, the frame will want to do this, but I just need to bring it up and then it'll be secured by some wood up there. Let's whip this cover off a minute. Nowhere near the angle I thought. It was going to be a lot more extreme than that. Let's get away just sealant, but I need to put an L shape so I can screw the L shape down into this metal and then fix this back through the L. It's nice. This sort of thing, but maybe a bit shallower on the back and a longer piece. Right, that's rather exciting. So I'm going to pop to Wix, grab the right angle. They sell it in 2 metre lengths, which is perfect. Should be just under that. I don't think anything else I can get. What's the pop out? Right, I think. Right, I think that was fairly successful. I've got length of angle. Something like that. Now, before I left, I actually gave this a coat of Vactan to cure all the rust. It's dried pretty well. Sanded it and used some Vactan. So that's going to go like that. I can basically fit this in position with some grab and bond, CT1 grab and bond, and then self tappers down in through, and then I can drill and bolt through. Sorry, I'm using the camera the other way around, so it's a bit awkward. Through the timber and then bolt with these, with the round heads on the front. Sure, there's other ways of doing it, probably better ways of doing it, but in my head this is what I've come up with. There's no real Bible on converting or not necessarily converting or renovating a narrowboat. Maybe we'll write one in the future, how not to do it. I think I'm going to fit it this way around. one drill bit down. Got the hole done now. That didn't go very well. One snap screw. Let's try a slightly bigger hole. Go through with this and I'm right, one more try with these screws. If not, I'm using the ones I've used before, they're just a bit big. A bit wobbly, whereas the long ones I'm going to put pilot through 3mm. Basically, them screws are 4mm. I thought a 3mm drill bit would be alright, but the steel's thicker than I thought. Just tried a 4mm halfway down, but it still snapped when it got to the bit that was only at 3. I just found a 3.5, but it's a long bit, so it's quite likely to snap. Let's try 3.5. That didn't work. Pulled it down. I feel like I used the screws I had before because they're countersunk. You know, the ones with pan heads, so they would have stuck up too much. That's worked quite well. You leave him alone. See what you're doing. You're not scared of water. I broke some ducks up fighting the other day by putting water on them, but it's annoying, this one. Right, just let that set for a bit. Now, I'm going to put a couple bolts in just to hold it in place because the rain's starting to drizzle a little bit, so I want to get this cover back up, at least it'll hold that in position. Something like that. Just measured that, so I need to make a block up and then cut some oak down for that. It's just having a bit of a sort out, and it doesn't take too long to get overwhelming when it's messy. This is some wiring I did off camera, I think a couple of days ago. So the battery's all connected up. The ground to chassis or engine block is in. I'm going to focus a bit more now on wiring in the 12 volt loads properly, like the lights and stuff, so we can use them with a fuse in line, a bit safer and easier, and keep trying to balance the terminals. It's also thrown me off a little bit. We had daylight saving, I think, last night, so it's nearly 7 o'clock and it's still this light, which is rather good. It's just a bit confusing, it's normally dark by now. And crack on with this. Good morning. So I had a bit of a false start on the wiring yesterday. I didn't realise how little cable I actually had, so I've ordered some more. That should be in a few days. Crack on with that at a later date. Now, a few of you were worried on last week's video about security for solar panels. Now, it's a shame we've got to worry about things like these, but I picked a couple of little bike locks up just as a deterrent, really, because at the minute you could just undo both the plastic nuts on them and they'd come off, albeit a bit awkwardly because they're obviously massive panels. But I'm just going to drill a hole in the side of the frame and then attach it to the handrail. I think it's about the easiest. Good morning. So yesterday turned into a bit of an admin day. Spent all day on the computer doing a bit of research for America. For good reason though, because I managed to save £1,000 on our hire car. This isn't a sponsor or anything, but I used a V first of all, which we've used in the past. They were right, it was £1,800 for 18 days. And the one-way charge, this is from Chicago to Vegas. And then I've been looking, so I thought, I know I can get it cheaper than that. We paid similar to that before, but for a massive truck. But obviously with the fuel issue and stuff, we thought we'd just try and keep it a bit more budget, a bit more sensible. So we've just gone for a little hatchback. Anyway, on QEEQ.com, they turn out £950 or something stupid. So I booked that. A V had free cancellation anyway. And this actually goes through Hertz. I mean, all hire car companies, as far as I'm aware, are like really bad. But as long as you take videos and photos all around the car and stuff, and make sure you top the fuel back up, just try and keep ourselves covered. Really, make sure we don't get any extra charges, because sometimes they can work out more than the actual hire itself. Today, back to work. I need to figure out the oak for the length to support the Cratch board. Let's have a quick rummage through what we got here. Right, first job, cut it to length. I'll just even the edges off first. Where's the knot I can get rid of? This chop saw scares the shit out of me. Now I need 3 of those at about 100 mil. Decided to clamp this up after all. I'm going to bring this with me in the car, hopefully it'll dry a bit more by then. Bring this, go and mock it up over the boat. Right, let's take the cover off and see if this works, if it fits. Just got off the phone to a company called Masterworks. They're going to do the cover for us. They're going to come out and take a template, hopefully before we get leave for America. They said worst case they actually cover the marina that we're going to anyway, so they can come take it whilst we're away. They said they'll have the whole thing done by the time we're back, which is perfect. Right, just put the cover up. We've got rain due any minute now, really, for the next hour or so. I'm just going to pop coat it. I've got varnish on these. Right, next little task for me. Ceiling trims, finally. Go like that, and across. They're staying exposed timber to match in with these, if you haven't guessed already. It's just a nice way of hiding the joints in the plywood. Good afternoon. I can't remember where I left you, but I'm going to make it my challenge today to get this Cratch board top rail mounted. I think I'm going to have to fit it and then coat it in yacht varnish after, just so it's got a chance of drying. Oh yeah, I did. What's that? That's the bottom side. So I'll fit it and then paint that side after. Got the bolts and that are stopped by wicks. I've got angle brackets as well, a few things to try to mount it up top there. I haven't been over in a couple of days. Been a bit, like I said before, I've been looking after the dog. Time's just flying by, so it's probably a bit of a shorter video this week. I'm not really sure what I filmed. Never know until you start actually editing what sort of you've managed to get hold of that makes any sense. What have we got here? Anyway, first things first, I need to take this cover off. Before I take it off, I'm just going to check the weather ain't going to change. It's alright out now, but you never know. Right, scrap that, rain's coming in tomorrow. That's a shame. What I'm going to do, I'll just stain this side, finish the stain off on that. At least that can dry then, because we can't afford to leave this cover off because the rain comes down in. For those of you relatively new, this boat originally was a wet bilge, so any rainwater would literally run down through the deck, underneath the floorboards, and then get pumped out from the bilge, from the engine bay bilge. What we're doing, essentially, this cover's temporary. Once this new one goes on, it'll literally be on year round, mainly to stop us having to worry about the water draining. The reason it does this is because water level is literally about here on the outside, so if you have the traditional drain out the side, you're more likely to get water coming in. A bit of a pain, but it's the joy of an old boat. I don't think they're all wet bilges, but this one, this particular designer, builder, is an ex-Black Prince hire boat. They did that for some reason. Right, since that failed, I'm going to do my best to get the solar panels wired in, and that way they'll be charging the batteries, which would be ideal because we are using these batteries for the water pump and lights and everything now, so that'd be a good move, I think. Finish the week off. And the sun's out as well, so it'd be rude not to. Just try not to educate myself. Now, next up is going to be connecting cables from this to a charge controller. It essentially goes from that to the batteries via the distribution. This is not connected up to the panels yet, so I can connect them up after, but always remember to connect batteries first, that this gets power and then it can control the panels properly. Or if you plug the panels in first, you can actually knack your batteries. So on this, the negative bus bars here, positives up here require a fuse. Let's go in there. there's a 60 amp mega fuse going in, and the cable comes up. Right, now I should be able to turn that on. Digital flashing. Yep, now I need to connect my phone to this, which means I can't film. Bear with me a sec. I don't think this itself is actually Bluetooth. It needs to be connected all up through once I've got a smart shut and all that connected. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug the panels in. Bit of a brave moment. Oh, that's solid. Our trusty voltmeter. Oh, they're charging 12.8. Anything over 12.6 or so they're charging. I don't know if you can see that or not. 12.9. Oh, it's rising. That's 13 volts. Hang on. This is hard. Don't do that. Yeah. Negative, positive. Nice. Right. I need to head home, so that is me for this week. I'll turn all this off, don't worry. Give it a good check then. I can't wait to get it connected up to the screen and that. The servo, which will then show us all the details of how much you're actually getting from the panels and whatnot. Cool, right, see you next week. Thanks for watching.